I want to show you guys there has been a palpable shift in the last few days or so, actually in the direction of Kamala Harris. Some winds in the sails, if you will. And I'm not here to make a prediction at this point. That will be coming very, very soon. But Donald Trump had taken a lead in the 538 prediction. Again, I'm not such a big fan of this. This one tends to lag a little bit, and it's basically just had a 50-50 race the whole time, but with some notable bumps back when Kamala Harris had first launched her campaign. Um, she since lost that lead, and Trump has held on and recently had a bit of a bump there. It's back to about tied there with Kamala Harris closing the gap. And you have Trump out of these, I think, 1,000 simulations, 52 out of 100, and then Kamala Harris, 47 out of 100, a 50-50 tie there. They're not really going out of their way to make a large, stake a large claim there. And if anyone else is keeping track of the betting markets, I don't know how much people really put credence into these, but again, Kamala Harris was leading for a while there. She precipitously sold off and is coming back just again in the last several days here. And this is important because obviously this is the final stretch of the election. So still about 50-50 there, predicted seeming to be maybe the more accurate, maybe more conservative, depending on how you look at it. And then on Kalshi, this is one of the newer ones that just recently got legalized to be allowed to do this. Again, Kamala Harris was leading for a while. Big break that happened in the last several weeks. Basically, all of October was a disaster for Kamala Harris there. Basically, hitting a bottom at about 36%, surging back up to 42. I would say look for that to continue tightening up until election day. And again, a lot of that's going to depend on how the polling goes. Poly market has been the more conservative of these. Again, I don't think Americans are even allowed to bet on this, but most conservative, bottoming out there at 33% for Kamala Harris, and she has since, even in the most conservative, where I think MAGA people are just dumping big, massive dumps into all these different outcomes here. And you'll notice notably the two stronger of the states there for Kamala Harris being Wisconsin and Michigan, and that is going to be important. But yeah, I think it is important to acknowledge that this is the best of all possible times to be making a comeback if you're Kamala Harris. Trump's campaign getting very extreme in the final days, several gaffes and blunders that we've seen coming down the pike. And then even today with Donald Trump doing, I think it was actually last night at the rally where he said he's going to basically do whatever he wants to women and there's not going to be anything they can do about it. Kamala Harris's campaign clipping that and putting together a brilliant ad that is targeting abortion. That is going to be a major, major factor of this election. And finally, voter enthusiasm, guys. So if we look back at recent history, 2008 was sort of this high watermark for Democrats. It was the Obama election, kicking Bush out, the disaster of the Bush years. Let's move on, something new, something better. Massive dip in support there for the Democrats because they did not get what they thought they would out of Obama. Republicans had a massive surge, but of course it was not enough for Romney to go ahead and take that. So you can't just simply say that a lead in voter enthusiasm is going to mean you're going to win the election. Obviously, these things are very, very complicated. So I'm not here to say that. What is notable, though, that of all of the recent years, say for 2000, 2016 was a low for basically everyone, independents, Democrats, and Republicans, with the Republicans just a little bit ahead there in enthusiasm. And that was notably the year that Donald Trump was able to take advantage, shift the margins, shift the gaps there, and shoot through the blue wall and take that and win in somewhat of a landslide in the Electoral College, losing the popular vote, as we know, by millions of votes, but doing what he had to do to win that election. Massive rebound in 2020, where Democrats were able to surge the vote and take back the country with the Joe Biden at the top of the ticket there. Republicans not quite as enthusiastic, independents a little bit more enthusiastic, Democrats leading the way there. And we've seen pretty much a lateral shift there, but actually a bit of an uptick in enthusiasm for Democrats, matching or surpassing the number from 2008, the Obama election, notably Republicans outperforming a little bit better there and independents holding about even. But if you're Democrats, this is the sign that you really want. If you can recreate that from 2008 and drive out support. And we know what's causing it. It is the overturning of Roe versus Wade. If you did not see that, I think this number would be pretty much, somewhere down, equal with or below even these numbers. But you just have massive, massive enthusiasm for women and people with just the moral understanding that this is an issue that has to be taken back. And if nothing else matters, the economy, the border, gun rights, this has taken precedent because it really represents a lot more to a lot of people than just it is on the surface. I mean, lives are at stake, the moral direction of the country is at stake, healthcare is at stake. It's just so many things that are wrapped into that. So that's interesting stuff. Again, some positive signs there for the Kamala Harris campaign. Still not necessarily favored to win, but we'll take a look at that when I make my final prediction there. So be on the lookout for that. So interesting stuff. The race is shaping up in the final days here. Let me know what your thoughts are. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.